Okay, we are live. Each second you wait is more annoying for me to edit.
I don't know why. I didn't realize my hat was so lopsided. I'm sorry. I thought it was. It's like I don't. I need a different baseball hat. What's the most technically advanced baseball hat I can get? I know I've seen ones where there's like a little light in the brim right here.
The Scott Evest ones.
Mm-hmm.
They have. They have
Scotty
Scotty
Vest
Vest.
would be the most technologically advanced because you can cram a bunch of crap in it
Even
besides
the
your head.
hats? Okay. Wait. Okay, here. There. Perfect. Okay, fine. Okay, ready, Heim?
Yeah.
Just
Okay,
rock your asymmetry. Just own it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hello, I'm Justin Freed, and this is in 30. For the last couple of episodes, we haven't been counting episode numbers, which the more I think about it, the sadder it makes me. So we might go back to that
It's
convention.
154.
Thank you, Heim. That's Heim Cohen of HeimTime.com. He's of course here to lift up my spirits. Paul and Shapiro of Paul and Shapiro and Search Engine something Forest Search Forest is not with us today.
He's moving next door. Literally moving next door to his current apartment.
He is doing something domestic. He's a domesticated Paul animal, and replacing him with gusto today is Kelly of what Kelly. I always ask you what you're of, and tell us what you're of today.
Okay. Today I am of Mac Observer over at macobserver.com. And as of today, I am also a host on the After Show.
Very cool. Okay. Well,
Wait. Hold on. Is there an after show to the after show?
Mm-mm.
So
Not yet.
But there will be. So if I want the after show of the after show, I have to wait.
So Kelly,
Yes, you do.
Is Mac Observer, is that run by Aussies? Is that one?
No.
Well,
It's run by Jeff Gamet and Brian Chaffin.
I think I had
Dave Hamilton.
I think I had a Twitter problem with someone from Mac Observer a long time ago. I'll have to check my timeline, but we'll put that aside for right now. They're not,
Okay.
I
Don't hold it against me.
I won't. Okay. Well, that's good though. Okay. All right. From Tua to Bananaverse to Mac Observer, I dig it. I like it. Okay. All right. So today, because Heim Time has bestowed a topic upon us, we're going to be talking about what Heim Time?
I want to talk about the app stores, the good, the bad, and mainly ugly side of the app stores. All three of them, or four of them, or however many there are. There's not. It's basically the only way you seem to make money is if you're number one in the app store, which is a recursive death wish, I guess.
Kelly, do you get the sense that Heim lost a battle with Amex trying to get a refund on an app recently, and that's why we're talking about this? Because I'm gonna.
No, I will admit that my favorite king of nerds discussed it a few weeks ago, and we're drawing at straws. I mean, do we really care about the potentially sapphire display on the iPhone or Shamu?
Look, it's the middle of August. There's not news. I mean, not when it comes to tech, not really.
Okay. Well, just let me put it this way: as far as there not being news, Obama held a dual-purpose press conference today that was off the cuff for what's going on in St. Louis, and also regarding putting boots on the ground in Iraq. So there is a lot. There's enough to, and I think he did it from Martha's Vineyard while he was on vacation.
Here's the thing: I'm not allowed.
What's what
According
I
to my wife, I'm not allowed to discuss my views on either topic because I am way too militant.
You're way too militant.
Okay.
I
well,
will get
there's
arrested,
not a lot of
so.
tech news. There tends not to be tech news in August. It's another week or so before a huge back-to-school push starts for things, so there's not a lot there, and everybody's just kind of spinning their wheels until Christmas as far as, like, consumer purchases. So there's not a whole lot news-wise when it comes to technology. There's not a whole lot actually happening. There's a lot of rumor-mongering, but there's not a lot happening.
The Surface 2 is bound to be a hit this going back to school season. I'm sure Microsoft will bilk some school district into giving their kids those second-class devices. Anyway, Heim, we're here to talk about software.
It'll be the Redmond School District.
Heim, it sounds like you want to attack the Flappy Birds of the world and put them in their place. Is that right, Heim?
Well, I want to know. I guess you and I both had. I was able to. I think I was one of the few people that was able to install an app the very first day the App Store came out with my iPhone 3G, and and I remember there was only 9 pages, so less than 200 apps available
Mhm.
for everyone to go. And now there's, I don't know, 500,000, a million in each, and
There's over a million apps
I
in
don't know how
the
you
Apple
find
App
them.
Store.
How does one go about finding a good app other than word of mouth or you should try this or some scammy QR code on the side of the parking meter?
Now that Haim has a kid, he likes to walk down memory lane as often as possible. Back when the App Store only had 9 pages.
In my day.
Okay, so yes, there's a lot of competition to be listed as a featured app, certainly, and Apple,
Right.
has editors that can bring apps to the top, also curating groups of apps. I don't know what else they're supposed to do. If there's a million apps, yeah, it's hard to break in, but I mean, it seems like as long as it's not patently unfair, that's the name of the game. That's how it goes.
But the sheer scale makes it patently unfair, only because, like, I can't think of another store that sells a million different products, period, let alone a million different varieties of the same thing, which is stuff that you can install on your phone. So, and it's like a literal million. I don't mean like, oh, there were a million people in line in front of me at Costco. Like, no, an actual 1 million and change apps.
Wait, don't say
when you hear from the
figuratively a
companies-
million people in front of me at Costco, because you haven't been to Costco where I am the day before Christmas. It could be literally a million people.
Wow, Haim. Okay, you're gonna be.
I've never seen a Costco that could hold a million people, so now I'm kind of impressed by the Costco you have on the East Coast.
I think Haim needs to print out a sign and put it on his lawn that says, "Everyone under 30 off my lawn." Right, Haim? You just need.
That would keep me off. I am not 30 yet.
You're including yourself.
So.
Okay, but it's you take the good with the bad.
It's not our fault you're an old coot, Haim, is what he's trying to say.
I'm channeling my Jolie Odell.
I don't know what that means.
So here's the deal, though, is that by virtue of being super popular, there are a lot of apps in the App Store, and and the thing about it is when it comes to an economy of scale, it sucks to have that many to try and wade through, because, like, I write about tech. I write about tech at Mac Observer. I did the 2 Talkcast for like 4 years or 5 years, and we did so many episodes, and we talked to tons of developers. And I go to Macworld, and I go to Mac Tech, and I talk to all these guys, and I get email from people, and like, I, in my world, hear about so many more apps than regular folks do, who are not people who spend all of their time on this stuff. And I still don't even scratch the surface when it comes to the number of apps in the App Store or finding something that's good. Like, I can find things that are good, but there may be something out there that, because somebody is not very good at marketing or didn't tell somebody who knows somebody whom I know, I'll never find out about it.
Okay, so the marketing thing is one part, but there's some classes of apps that we can discuss. There are apps that are only useful insofar as tons of people are using them, or they get a lot more useful as tons of people use them, like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook to some extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that class of apps where it is where you need a lot of people behind the app to get it to work, and that even goes for things like Uber and Lyft, because if there's only one driver in your city, maybe he's going to be really busy or really bad or whatever. But there's then this whole other class of apps that is like finding your spouse, because there are a billion fish in the sea, and you just kind of have to find the person that works for the purpose at the time. And yes, you can get divorced, but you can also uninstall an app. And I think
let me give you an example.
That's what comes. If you want to edit your photos, you type in photo editing in the App Store and you see what happens.
The problem is that if you type photo editing in the App Store, the first you get Photoshop tips, Lightroom tips, all the the Trey Ratcliffe app.
Mm-hmm.
And then scroll down a little bit, you may get iPhoto, or maybe iPhotos first, or then you get Lightroom and everything else. But my issue was recently I purchased an investment property, and I was trying to find some sort of app that I can gauge my mileage, that I can put in mileage for tax reasons that I can deduct. and either scan a receipt.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to my mileage app that I use for my car. For Android, it's aCar, and I used AppCubby, which are now all owned by Fuely. But and I looked, and it just wasn't easy. So I was looking for another one, and I found one, but the UI was not great, and it always had to be running. So I just kept on looking, and I gave up. And I'm thinking, there's a million apps. Why is this is not? I'm not the first person to have this problem.
You're causing me to digress yet again. But as far as your rental property goes, and keeping mileage for tax purposes, are you talking about the write-off of driving from your home to your rental property?
And to Lowe's, and to Lowe's, and to Home Depot.
I was going to say to Home Depot. Okay, I mean okay. I mean I okay, look,
See, if you take this and zoom it out into any kind of use case, though, that could be anything. I have looked for a mileage tracker app before because I needed one for other stuff. I've looked for an app to track receipts because I have expense reports to submit. I have looked for all kinds of things.
See,
the search results can be less than helpful.
So maybe you don't use the App Store to actually find the app. So in the case of tracking mileage, there's Automatic, which is a hardware-software solution. Really good. Works perfectly for what you're describing, Chaim, because you can export the trips after the fact if you want to, and it has a GPS built in. It uses a GPS of your device, such that you can look at all the trips where you ended up at Home Depot or at Lowe's, right? So you can figure that out after the fact, and just if you're audited, you can tell the IRS guy that's how it is. Yeah,
but that fixes his one specific solution. What about other people, or what about anybody who sits down and doesn't have someone like us who can recommend an app or hardware to them to help them solve the problem that they're having? Like if my mom sits down and wants to find an app to do a thing, she's going to start with the App Store.
I think that the receipt scanning thing is interesting. Is something that we can use to dissect this, because one way to deal with a receipt in the digital world, if you're going to get a heat printed receipt from a regular retailer, is to just snap a picture of it and keep it in your photo library.
And that's what I do.
And then if you have an Android phone, it's probably going to make its way into photos.google.com or plus.google, wherever they store it now, and it's going to OCR it automatically, and you're going to probably be really freaked out one day when you type Lowe's in or something, and all your Lowe's receipts come up. That's the first stage of things, just the idea of taking the picture. That's if someone can like get to that space on their own, that's good. But then it's kind of a limited thing. Like if you Google that, and instead people are going to say to use Evernote, to use Wave receipts. There's a lot of different ways, and it's kind of like before the App Store. It's like methods for organizing things. People just want tips. How do I what's the best way to use an accordion file folder to deal with my taxes or something? And I think we're in the same place. As long it is democratic, insofar as everyone starts off on an equal playing field, and then people can vote. And the algorithm, I think, is democratic. I don't know that for sure. I don't know that editors can't tweak it, but the playing field is level enough to begin with that you pay your $100, and then the sky is the limit.
Well, we're not just talking about the Apple App Store, because if you're cross-platform, you will never be featured.
That's not 100% a guarantee, but certainly they give precedence to they lug App Store only apps. Okay, so
that's the biggest issue, is finding the apps, and I don't know how you do it. I mean, Apple bought some company a year or two ago that was Chomp, I think it was, that was supposed to make it easier to find, and I don't know, maybe they need some sort of I don't know. I mean, Google has the same problem.
What is wrong with trial and error? You download the app, you don't like it, you make it jiggle, and you press the X.
I need 2 more minutes before I segue from exactly that comment into the next problem.
But I mean, Kelly, at some level, I mean, if your mom is probably maybe never going to download an app for X purpose, if she types in recipes into the App Store, she's going to get a lot of crap, and she's not going to get a solution unless she really thinks about it. And if you want to think about solving your problems digitally, then that lends itself to doing a Google search if you need to,
So you got to Google search your App Store apps.
You Google, you try to figure out a solution. I guess the idea, the perspective that you two are coming at it from, is that the App Store is a panacea for any niche problem you could possibly come up with. And this is not a "you are more powerful than you think" iPad commercial where you have a little
No.
meter and a...
That's not where I'm coming from at all. I'm coming from if I was a user. Back it up. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. I'm a user. I sit down and I go, okay, let's use my aunt as an example. My aunt just got a smartphone like a month ago.
Okay.
So she sits down and she wants an app. She wants an app that tells her the weather. She wants a better weather app because she wants something that has something that she wants radar. That's the one she asked me about. So she wants an app
Dark sky.
that has the radar for the weather.
Okay.
That's what she wants. So before she called me, she tried to go find one in the App Store. And so all she did was search radar on her phone and look at it and try to figure out which one she wanted. So first of all, if all you type in is a single word, you're going to get 8 jillion results. Yes, Heim, literally.
Yeah.
And then...
Wait, where is that? Is that Thundering New?
No,
Oh,
it's been there the whole time.
Well,
I got that in the 90s.
Okay,
like,
well, that's
yeah,
the first. That's the first that
forever.
we've seen of it on In30 that I can recall. But hello, welcome. Thundering.
Okay. Hi, and welcome to Kelly's Hardware Upgrade. Okay, so, oh, and the orange, because I'm drinking orange soda, that's even better. So, you type in radar, you're going to get a jillion results. It doesn't matter what app store you're using. And then you have to scroll through them and figure out which ones are like the radar reporting apps for speed traps and which ones are weather. And then when you look at the weather ones, like which ones are any good and do I really want to pay $1 or $5 or $10 on spec for something, you know, that I could end up having to delete later.
And we all
again, it comes back to human curation. Like, for me, that's the best thing. For my aunt, what she wants to do is call me up and go, I want a weather app with radar. What's the good one?
Is it okay if Apple's people did that? If when you type in weather radar, let's just make it a little easier on them.
Mm-hmm.
They leave a portion of the results. It's kind of like the difference between someone buying a Google result via AdWords and an organic search. But the first result says, if we think that you want a weather radar app, here is what the people in Cupertino who make way too much money probably for curating apps think you should download. And then the rest is democratic. That's okay?
Well, I like the idea that there's some sort of human curation. For me, that's been the best way for me to discover apps. But by human curation, it's not somebody in Cupertino. It's I ask Jeff Gamet or Brian Chaffin at Mac Observer. I ask Mike Rose or Steve Sandy over at Tuwa. You know, but I have the access to these guys to send them a text and be like, hey, Jeff, can you tell me what's a good app for this thing I'm trying to do? And Jeff will go, oh, yeah, you should try this one. And
Justin,
Jeff has gone through that process already and done a bajillion of these.
Kelly, you've just given Heim an app idea. What is
We're going to make an app where you text message Kelly. You're going to text message somebody what they want as an app, and somebody on the other side, and you're going to pay money for this. And we're going to take 30% of it, and they're going to get a human curated. So Kelly's phone's going to explode at all hours of the day where she's supposed to ask everyone at Tuwa what their favorite fart app is.
So this is like a 711
aren't you
number.
an Android believer? Like, nobody in the Android store pays for stuff.
Well, that's not true. I mean, I pay for a lot of stuff, but that's the next.
Not many people.
I
understand completely that I'm painting with a broad brush. I buy way more than my share of apps as it is too.
Look,
but
generally, before we move on, let's just talk about the idea of a $1 app. Okay, I think that in 2014, and we can talk about inflation and the gold standard in a different episode if we need to, but $1 is so very little. And we spend, you know, if you go to McDonald's, you can eat on $1. You get like, I don't know what the dollar menu is now, but you can get some French fries. Like, it is not a bridge too far to say, you know what? If you type in weather radar, you pay $1, and if you don't like it, you uninstall, and then it's just $1. And the developer only got 70 cents. You know, so try.
The developer doesn't make any money that way. And this is a drum I have beat for a long time. It's okay if your app is $5. If you have a good app, then charge what it's worth. I mean, we never had that problem on computers. Who looks at the latest version of Halo and says $60 is highway robbery?
I mean,
Nobody.
That's a different story. No, you're right. Look, I've purchased more apps than I've downloaded for free. But the bigger problem is I just can't find what I want. And that, again, the whole point of the story with this mileage app or whatever it is. And I don't know what the answer is. It's definitely not freemium. I mean, if we're going to segue into freemium or anything like that, it's definitely not that. Maybe we get rid of some features that are key and then we charge for the key for it or something else. And then talking to Justin, the dollar, I think you're right. If the app's worth $1, then it's fine. $1 is not much these days, and you got to feed the developers. Because then what happens are the subscription models, which is the only way people really make money. And I'm really not a fan of subscription models.
I'm not either, but I'm happy to pay what it costs for an app, and I don't think $1 is reasonable. I think $1 is reasonable for me to pay. I don't think it's reasonable for a developer to charge. I think a developer should charge more money. I think developers are worth more than that. I think a developer's time is worth more than that.
Let me ask you this.
How do I know that? Because I backed it up. I have OmniFocus, which is a $20 iOS application on my iPhone.
On sale for $10 now because Apple curated productivity apps in the App Store and then requested that each of those productivity apps give a substantial discount. By the way, so that's
No, Kelly, I agree with you. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, if the app's worth more than it is, I mean, it should be absolutely that way. You should pay for what the app's worth and not wait for the dollar sale or whatever it is. And I think we all agree that Dark Sky is probably the best weather app that's out there, and it's $4.
I did not think twice.
Oh, it's a fantastic app, and I think it's absolutely worth all $4 of it.
I forget how I got Dark Sky for free. I think it was because of the Starbucks app or something that gives you a free app every week. I'm pretty sure that's how I got it for free. But I don't know that I would have spent $4 on that because it competes. Yes, it competes well with the built-in weather app, but it's nice to have it. But it's at $4, there's a little bit more friction to the purchase. And then my expectations are higher all of a sudden. I think the $1, $2 range is good because the App Store is so huge and there are so many iOS devices and people with their credit cards linked up with them that a developer knows if I price it at $1, I can still make literally $1 million. So that's more than 1 million sales. Yes,
it's true. But for example, with Dark Skies does something very specific, and it will show me. If I haul it out right now and look at it, it will say it's going to, today it's not raining because it's August, but it would say it's going to rain in 9 minutes, and then it's going to stop in 28 minutes.
Look,
and because of the way the climate works in Portland, that's exactly the information that I need.
Is it accurate, though?
Yes.
The big difference with Dark Sky is that it uses the radar effectively, and you can and it uses the radar to actually, I think it's at an app level, take the radar and give you those notifications, and then it can also notify you of impending rain and lots of nifty stuff. But, no one needs that. It's like...
But why did they add all that stuff? Because at $4 a whack, they could afford the developer time to do it.
I mean, I don't... Is that's from the Dark Sky developer's mouth, or that's your guess based on
99 cents? At 99 cents, I don't think they would have made enough to have added those kind of features.
Well,
and the whole reason I installed it wasn't the Starbucks app at all. It was because I found person after person who went, oh my God, do you have Dark Sky? It is the best weather app, and it totally works in Portland.
But hold on a second. See, here's the thing. I can't get Dark Sky because I have an Android phone, but I use something that pulls from their API, Forecast.io. But I found out about it from the King of Nerds, John Siracusa, on one of his ad reads. So I went and I looked at it and I was pissed that I couldn't find it. But if you type radar into the App Store or weather or whatever it is, that's not coming up. That may be on the 5th page. And when you try to explain it to somebody, it does one thing really well. It tells you when it's going to rain. Because that's what most people want. They don't care what really the temperature is. I mean, they don't care whether it's 80 or 82 degrees. They care, is it going to rain on my 5-minute walk to the subway? And I will say that in New Brunswick, it's not 100% accurate to the point that I've got really frustrated with it. But I still use it.
Okay, it's worth saying that if the app were $1, it's possible that the volume, and this is what app developers have to go through all the time, and there are lots of methods for them determining it. But if they were to drop the price of the app, would they make up for it in volume, and how quickly? And that's the dilemma of it.
That's not really the whole idea of the App Store. We got 6 minutes left.
Only 6? Oh. I was going to say, Haim, now is the time to explain the progress of the Google. I will say this. I saw a Google Play Store advertisement on television, regular broadcast TV, via an HD antenna. And I was very impressed.
Good ads.
I thought the ad was very good. It used the triangle Play logo with the rounded edges, and it showed the content that you can get on it, and it kind of just built up the credibility of the Play Store. I believed in it, but Haim,
yes,
where's the Play Store functionality wise versus the App Store?
Well,
and by the way, the longer we get away from the inception of the App Store, the more it seems like, even the fact that Amazon, I guess, won the trademark thing against Apple, but using the App Store term, Apple's got it pretty good branding wise. They get an iPhone and the App Store, and it is the most essential version of the name, the App Store. Everyone else, Google Play. No one knows what the hell that means.
Well, look.
They got away with a lot.
I will tell you that I can search the Google Play Store, if you want to call it, from my computer, and I can hit install the app. I can pay for it on my computer, and when I get to my phone, it's already there. I don't have to sync it. I don't have to do anything. And I think that's a killer feature. The other thing it does is it lists, I guess both the stores do this, the app permissions. Now it's starting to say in-app purchases. And Google made it a point to say that you can't be a free game with an X percentage of in-app purchases. To be a free game, the majority of your functionality has to be free. Something like that. Both stores, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It's whatever you have. I think they're both fine.
Kelly, here's an App Store quiz. The functionality that Haim described, can you do it on iOS?
No, you need iTunes.
To buy it on my Mac and have it show up on my phone? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Of course you can,
for some time.
Of course, Haim.
Okay.
You just have to turn syncing on the device, and you have to do it through iTunes. But yes, that works.
It will work through iCloud, so you can be at work and get it.
It doesn't matter where you get it. It uses your Apple ID to do it. So that's
it's tied to Apple ID, and so I can tell it.
It's smoother through the browser.
Yeah.
But Haim, you kind of just wanted to start this episode with a complaint overall. To me, the results that I get on iOS are fine. Just for the heck of it, I still go to the Google Play Store and I download stuff for my virtual Android device. I don't know if that's a little insane for you too, but so I have them in my Google Play Store account. But what I think I am happy with the App Store experience. I like the apps that I get. I like the fluidity of it. Believe it or not, I'm a happy camper.
Do you like your receipts like 2 weeks later?
I like getting the email receipts just so I know when I spent some dough on it.
Yeah, but 2 weeks later,
I can go on Mint and type in app space STOR.
When is it 2 weeks?
I don't know. When I got apps from the iOS store, this is going back now probably a year. I haven't bought an app in a while.
Okay.
Well, because I have an iPad too, and
the email receipts can take a while.
The email receipts take a while.
I mean,
not necessarily, not literally.
Mine are usually a couple days.
So
mine's like a couple 3 days, depending on the timing.
But again, the whole idea of the show was just to complain to say, and I think we got into the argument that the app stores need to do a better job of finding better apps, because I'm just overwhelmed when I want to search something. It's just so bad, all over. Amazon.
I want it to be better.
Amazon isn't any better, and this has to be I think Justin hit it or somebody hit it. It's a brute force problem that we need to curate the apps to have somebody on the other side to say these are really good, because we all know reviews are terrible. Reviews don't make any sense, and now apps are saying click OK to give us 5 stars, and we won't pay $1 for anything that's not 1 million downloads of and average rating of 4.5 or greater.
Right. And like I have this exact problem in Google Play and in the Amazon App Store on Android because I have a Nexus 7. And I don't know a lot of Android developers. I don't hang out in the like Android chat. You know, like I don't read a lot of Android blogs. I'm just not plugged in over there. So when I look at this stuff, I go over there and I look up something like, here, there's an app that I like on iOS. I know it's iOS only. Let me see if I can find something similar to it in Google Play. And I never can. And I get frustrated, and then I get mad about it, and then I give up. And then I'm like, okay, so very rarely do I ever venture off the front page of the App Store in Google or Amazon's app stores because I just get frustrated and then I quit. I put it down and I go back to like the one that I know and can spend time with, and I guess I'll just have to live without that on my Nexus. And that's just that's what I feel like a regular user experience would be. If I went and searched for weather in Google Play and got 11 jillion apps, I'm gonna be like, no, I don't have the patience for this.
It is the tyranny of choice then.
That's
that
time.
That will be the closing 2 words. Tyranny, or 3 words. Tyranny of choice. Prepositions don't count as words. Okay. This has been episode blah, 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 something of In 30. Thank you, Kelly, for pinch hitting here.
Sure.
Get with the program, man. The App Store.
Okay.
The Google Play Store is not so bad. Bye.
Bye.